Welcome back. Cracking down on crypto, President Biden reportedly preparing an executive order on cryptocurrency to be issued as early as next month, as the House Financial Services Committee is also set to hold a hearing on digital assets and stable coins in just under 2 weeks. Joining me right now to talk more about the crypto market is the CEO of Overline. He is former Citadel Investment Group engineer, Patrick McConlogue. Patrick, it's great to see you this morning. Thanks very much for being here. I want to get into this market with you to see how it has evolved already. But what's your take on this executive order, the potential for this new hearing coming down the House, in the House Financial Services Committee? What kind of a regulatory backdrop are you expecting for crypto?
So this has been a long expected regulatory statement from the Biden administration. We have been waiting for this, rumors of this happening as early as August of last year, where there was these discussions that there would be new frameworks set up and give a lot of clarity to us working in this industry. So there's a lot of enthusiasm here, and the markets are indicative of that we're going to get some clarity on some opaque versions of the market. And we'll also get some more structure on areas of the market that we do want to see mature. And regulation is the shadow to that maturity.
Yeah, and I think the structure details are really important to give us a sense of where the growth is in this business. You've been doing this a long time, and I want to get your take on traditional assets like Bitcoin, because it's been so volatile out there. But you think traditional assets are going to continue to lose steam as newer blockchain technologies come into the forefront. Tell us more about that and how you see this market evolving and becoming clearer.
So as an investor looking to position yourself in 2022, or as someone who's looking to participate in this industry and move to where the hockey puck is going to be, I love that mentality. Don't chase the trend, but look at where the trend is going and get there first. And to get there first with crypto, you really need to buckle down and look at some of the education behind these protocols, but also the technical fundamentals. So the quick buck, the Doge coin, the meme coins, those are done. 2022 is going to see a lot more regulation, as you just mentioned, but also interruptibility. So we see 2022 as a focus on the technical fundamentals in the space. And so when you're looking at which one of these things to join, to work for, to invest in, it's key to find the one that's hardest, which is interesting because I also think 2022 is going to be a lot easier. It's the year of getting rid of a lot of the complications and difficulties in working in this space. But if you want to invest in the space, you're looking for what's harder.
So you've got 10 years of experience in data science, engineering, cryptography. I want to get your take on where all of this is going. I mean, do you see digital assets replacing real paper money? How do you see businesses adapting and consumers adapting to what feels like a whole new use of money?
So in 2022 specifically, and in media specifically, I see the rise of these things called attention coins or social tokens. And with these, what people are going to be able to do is interact with their fans, with stars like you, where if the individual issues a DAO or a decentralized autonomous organization, or they launch their own attention coin, they're going to end up getting a relationship with their fan base that we've really never seen anything like it before, where you can own parts of the interactions, you can deploy sticker packs, you can get pictures or NFTs of the individual. So 2022 is going to actually be a really great time for communities in the space to develop around popular figureheads.
I like that. And how does that jive with a digital dollar? I mean, the Federal Reserve is going to be releasing a report. It already did release a report on the pros and cons of creating a digital dollar to compete with crypto. So the Fed says that digital currency could boast many of crypto's benefits without the wild price swings seen in the last year. Patrick, do you believe that? I feel like the people that are writing regulation for crypto and this new digital assets world do not necessarily understand it the way market participants like yourself do.
Well, I'm not going to say that I understand their job better than they know it either, which is how to stabilize the financial system. So to some extent, I acknowledge they are working in an amazing time in this space. But you are absolutely right. In terms of the digital dollar, will it solve all problems? No. Will it have some advantages? Yes, but arguably, the United States needs to move fast and as fast as it possibly can. In terms of other countries developing new technologies, China is coming out with their own digital version, and they've started using it now in stores. Russia is working on one. India is working on one with thousands of engineers. And we're a bit behind the ball, and that's not really our style.
Yeah.
So I'd like to see some Silicon Valley gumption coming out of the next 6 months from the Fed, where, hey, let's start waking up to the fact that innovation is happening. It's happening now, and the United States should be leading it.
Yeah, and it has an opportunity to really lift many boats. Look what happened in El Salvador when they started using Bitcoin.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, 70% of the population in a nanosecond becomes banked, right? I love that example. I think it's so important to keep pointing that out.
Well, imagine, too, there's going to be this universe where attention coins, community figureheads actually become how some of these places are banked. Because what is the first thing that you do when you are interacting with the new world? It's to connect with the media. And so coins that are funneled through the media, or coins that come through media entities, are going to end up being the first time you see it. It's going to be amazing.
Fascinating. Patrick, please come back soon. We've got lots to dig in on this subject. Patrick McConlogue joining us this morning. Thank you, Patrick. We'll see you soon.